What you cooking, Granny?
Done cooked and cooled. That's my spring tonic.
Got a dandy head on it this year. How come you cooked up such a big batch? You fixing to tonic the whole town of Beverly Hills?
That's just a starter. Then I'm going to commence on the rest of the country.
Everybody?
No, just the Democrats and the Republicans.
They need tonicking, do they?
Why, kid, they is in such bad shape. One party can't walk and the other one can't even stand up.
Who told you that?
They did. I've been watching the TV. The Republicans claim that the Democrats is dragging their feet. And the Democrats come back and say that the Republicans ain't got a leg to stand on.
You got to remember, Granny, come election time, them two parties says a lot of things about each other.
That's why I ain't taking no chances. I'm tonicking both sides.
I'm glad to see you ain't partial. I'll say this. You get enough of your tonic into them two parties, this country's going to have one rip-snorting election.
That's why I made it extra strong this year. I figured a little will have to go a long way. Now go ahead, help yourself.
Well, I'll tell you, Granny, you ought to go first. It's your tonic.
Yeah. I have been feeling a little stove up lately. Little achy in the joints and not too spry.
Well, probably city living.
Probably. Well, here's looking at you, Jed.
Granny, you ain't looking at me.
Water. I gotta have water.
Tells me folks are going to talk about this election for years to come.
My name's Ryan Bundy. I'm a candidate for Nevada governor. I am running because I want to make sure that Nevada is free and that the rights of the individual are honored and that we are able to live in an environment of liberty that will bring prosperity. The past several years I have experienced going through court process, particularly in the federal court, but it was through and by, I was in Nevada. I witnessed and experienced pretty much all of my rights that are supposed to be guaranteed by the Bill of Rights be violated. And I realized that there's a great problem. If I experience these, I also understand that others will experience these. And yet our founding fathers set it up that we should never experience those atrocities, never experience a lack of those rights. That's why they're guaranteed in the Bill of Rights. And so if we're in a situation now where they're being denied to us, there's a problem. And that problem needs to be resolved. In the United States, we have the highest incarceration rate in the world, by far. And I can tell you why that is. That is because our criminal justice system is not honoring the rights of the people. They are assuming that people are guilty prior to any determination of guilt, prior to a fair trial. They're preventing people from, they're withholding their rights from them. They're withholding their right to a speedy trial. They're using the system to stress people until they take pleas many times. The judicial system in America today is very corrupt.
I am here at the Harney County Resource Center, formerly known as the Malheur Wildlife Resource National Refuge, and it is now the Harney County Resource Center. This is January 15th, about 7:45, and it has been about 13 days since the Hammonds have been in prison unjustly. That was the match that struck the fuse that put a lot of this in motion, and so that is going to be forefront here in much of what we do. And it has been 13 days since we have occupied this as a peaceful place to work from to restore our Constitution. What I'm going to do is, America, is I'm going to give you a daily update from the inside here of what's going on, what we're doing, and try to get the message out in another venue here. And so I hope you understand what this is about. This is about all of America. This is about our Constitution. It's about requiring our federal government to return to the confines of the law, to deal with the things of the national level, to allow the states to deal with the things of the states and the counties to deal with the things of the county, to restore a republican form of government. This land is special. This land needs to be free again. It cannot be free when our government has become lawless and they find no restrictions to their actions. They completely disregard the limits that we the people have put upon them, namely the Constitution. So we're requiring them to return to the confines of the law. Now, America, I want to speak to you a little bit more broadly. This fight is not just for the ranchers here that have been oppressed by the federal government in the destruction of their way of life, the ranches, the logging, but it's about every American citizen. It's about those of you who love this land. It's about those of you on the West Coast, the East Coast. Believe me that they are already restricting your freedoms in major ways. They're limiting access to the land. Once they get the ranchers off, they will then get the hunters off, and then your access to freely move in this country, in this land, upon these public lands, will be more restricted. Now, every day I will bring to you, maybe several times a day, anything that I feel is breaking and pertinent. And so that's what I'll do. You can follow this here on my YouTube channel, and also probably on the webpage, One Cowboy Stand for Freedom. Maybe I could just go back and explain how the day it was that we got here and how it happened, because I was one of the first ones that pulled in here. We came up here on that day to do a peaceful support march for the Hammond family before they were thrown into prison, not once but for a second time for the same charges. And the hour before the rally, Hammond Bundy and pulled us aside with a group of residents, a group of people that came up to support, and he took the time to go through the litany of all the things he did to get redress for the Hammonds. And it was extensive and over a considerable period of time. And he was completely ignored. Had tens of thousands of signatures turned into Judge Grassi. Judge Grassi, simple comment, not to him, but to the world, was, "These are just crazies." Well, once the ability to get redress from our elected officials, this is what failed. This is what Ammon said. He said, and I'll paraphrase it because I'm just doing what I remember. He said, "I feel very strongly that if we allow to go unchecked this persecution of the Hammond family and do nothing about it, it will become the new normal for American citizens." So America, this is about your freedom, about having justice equal under the law. And he said that we have to do more than just hold signs and peacefully march. Those are basically my words. But he laid out the plan an hour before the march to say we need to come here and occupy this resource center, this wildlife refuge that the federal government has placed here. He said that this is the place of which they base out of, that they've used to destroy many of these ranchers and these ranching families. And that, so we left, I left with Ryan Bundy. Ammon did the march with Ryan Bundy and a handful of others, and we drove out here. And I want you to know that as we came out here, there was a lot of thoughts going through my mind. There's a term called crossing the Rubicon. None of the generals in Rome were to cross the river, the Rubicon, and go at the head of their armies. But when Caesar crossed the Rubicon at the head of his army, there's no turning back. And I thought to myself, I've not yet crossed the Rubicon. I've not yet walked in and seized this federal facility. And as I thought upon this, I says, once I do that, there'll be no turning back. And as I pondered, I was driving, I was the rear guard, and we went across this great flat of frozen water and snow. There up ahead was a bald eagle, a large, beautiful bald eagle sitting on the fence post, watching us coming. As we passed, it lifted off and flew. And I said to myself, this is not about cows and grass. It's about freedom. And so I crossed the Rubicon. I'm all in. And so it is time to require our federal government to return to the confines of the law, to uphold the 10th Amendment, to put the states, allow the states to function in their proper role, to allow the county governments to function in their proper role. And so